the big calls on all the big races. Welcome along to What a Shout, brought to you by the Racing Post and kindly sponsored by Betfred. Well, we've had 4 incredible days racing that have taken place so far on the Sussex Downs. The weather's been indifferent, that's for sure, which has made it really quite difficult. But we still have one of the key races and days to look forward to. It is, of course, Stewards Cup Day on Saturday, and we'll be having a good look at that along with a couple of races from Newmarket and the other supporting card at Goodwood too. Before I introduce the team, can I just remind you that this is a like, subscribe, share and comment programme. We want your involvement and we want to hear from you. So the team. Hello Ross, how are you?
I'm very well.
Good.
It's a bit strange to be in here
with
other people, yeah, and before dinner as well, before pretty much every meal, getting ready for a big Saturday at Goodwood. Bit of a strange day, isn't it? The Saturday at Goodwood. I feel a bit like similar to Royal Ascot. It's a bit of a mixed bag.
I liked it when they had the Group 1 on the card as well, because I felt like the Nassau, it gave it a bit more. Yeah,
it is, and it feels it's not that it's not an exciting card.
Yeah.
It just feels like it doesn't have an identity necessarily. I guess you've got the Sprinters and the Stewards Cup often throws up a really nice horse.
You know, we've had such good racing all week, and I agree. As I said, I quite liked it when the Group 1 was on that day too.
Yeah. That said, you know, past few years, you'd have to be a group horse to win the Stewards Cup. Cardem won it a few years ago, of course. It took him ages to
win another race.
To win another top class race, yeah. But so basically, if you win the Stewards Cup this year, you might win a Group 1 in 4 years. That's what we're saying.
Brilliant. If they haven't retired or got injured by that point. But hang on, how's the punting been so far? Have you found it hard? Draw, weather, ground?
It's not been easy, but the way I play, it tends to be, if the results are a bit surprising, I usually do all right. I don't want favourites going in, really.
No.
And I've hit the frame with quite a few. I had a good result in the 3-year-old handicap yesterday. That's I like the 3-year-old races. I think that's the prime age group where you've got enough to go on form-wise, but you've still got a bit of potential, so you can find a bit of value. And it might be a bit of hindsight enough time, but you actually look at some of the results and you go, oh, actually, I can kind of see why that won now. I think it's been good, and Goodwood's Goodwood, isn't it? Every single track, everything. I feel like every horse is similarly unlucky. People complain about bad luck, but I think it does genuinely even out, I think, over 5 days.
And Frankie, how's your week been? You've been everywhere.
I have, yeah.
Taking it all in.
Yeah, not that I'm complaining, but it's been a busy week. A late flight back from Galway last night. 2 days at Goodwood, got very, very wet Wednesday. Not quite as wet, but it wasn't that nice in Galway yesterday. And then, late flight back, which I did miss out on Galway Ladies' Day after festivities, which I got stuck into last year. So I have done it, and it is great fun. But yes, it's a brilliant week. The last 2 years I've juggled the double, the Goodwood Galway double, and it is a very fun week.
We were just saying, your liver is going to thank you at the end of the week because you've had to be so well behaved. You've been here, there, and everywhere, and you haven't taken it all in. And Johnny's going to join us via Skype. Johnny, how are you? Have you been racing at all?
Very good, yeah. Very good, yeah. Delighted to be invited, yeah. I wasn't in Galway actually. I didn't bother going this year for some reason. I just didn't bother going to it, and so I'm very fresh. I'm a bit like Frankie. I'm very fresh, waiting to go here.
Raring to go with plenty of ammunition and winners up your sleeve. Well, the first of the 5 races that they're going to have a look at is the 150 from Goodwood. It's a 6-furlong sprint handicap. It's actually the Consolation Stewards Cup. I guess the draw is going to be a factor here because I don't know how much rain we're going to get between now and tomorrow. Possibly no more, which would be good. Currently it's soft. Frankie, how do they bet?
Yeah, I'm just switching over now, actually. I was having a flick through yesterday's results before. We're looking at the top of the market. Zaman Jamil, 3-1. Monshaw Cody's been very consistent, around 7-1. Just Call Me Pete, also at 7-1 currently. Count Otto, 8-1. Jim Crowley on board, been riding well this week. And then 7-2 Live in the Moment, and the bigger the rest.
Well, where do we start? I thought the favourite was quite short for what it's done.
Yeah, it's a classic case of, I think, bookmakers looking at a race of this nature and going, okay, last time I win a progressive 3-year-old, it's got to go in at the head of the market. I quite like the way this horse battled on at Thirsk.
Yeah.
Again, an inexperienced horse, to show that much tenacity, I thought was impressive. And the Charlton team are starting to really hit stride over the past few weeks. And obviously Ryan Moore, Saturday, glorious Goodwood as well. You know, I'm not saying that people pricing up these races just look at it and go, Dettori Moore, put him in as favourite. But I do think a couple of points.
Definitely a point or two comes off, doesn't it?
I think so, because especially Saturday punters are going to start to put those runners together. But very different conditions at Goodwood.
Quick round at Thirsk, wasn't it?
Yeah, and potentially drawn down the middle. You were saying about the draw. Be interested to see what Ryan Moore decides, because I think it's quite interesting that when it got really soft on Wednesday, they all came down this near side, but fresh strip of ground on the far side. Interesting that a couple of the fancied runners in the big race tomorrow, they chose to go over that far side when the draw came out. So yeah, kind of slap bang down the middle, as I mentioned. But the one thing you can say about this horse is there's this serious upside and potential. If you were looking at a horse who could potentially break into pattern company in 12 months, there's not many in here, and he's probably the only one. So, but priced up accordingly.
Agree. So what have you got lined up at a better price to
well,
take him on?
It is one of those races, isn't it, that my opinion will change after a furlong, where I realise that all the horses I fancy are stuck in the wrong position.
Are you an in-running punter?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's a big part of your arsenal if you can. Like I said, you look at a race after a furlong and you go, you know what? I got this wrong.
Yeah,
and adapt quite quickly.
Scrabble out quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, there was a couple that interested me, but the main one that I keep going back to is Many a Star, who won this race last year off a mark of 85. Is 83 this year. They popped a tongue tie on, drawn in 4, which in theory, if they do go over that far side, could be a nice little move. But on the face of it, has had a bit of a nightmare this year. But it came off the back of an absence at Epsom on fast ground in a really hot race. Last time I had at York, I don't think this horse is a York horse. And 2 runs at Goodwood last year, won this race, got beat by a really well handicapped horse next time out. So Goodwood horse, well handicapped, tongue tie on, yard starting to bubble under. Ross Orion rode a winner earlier on over this course and distance. I thought it was overpriced.
What's not to like? Johnny, what do you think?
Look, I suppose the obvious one is Zaman Jamil. He's an improving 3-year-old, as Ross said there, and he's like, if there is a good horse in this race, it's possibly him. But as Ross also said, the ground was different in Tersk. It's going to be softer here. He's priced as if he is going to be a group horse. Look, he's a very good chance. Obviously, he has. I was looking down through him. The rest of them are much just. The horse I was given a chance to myself. Horse belonged to Tim Easterby, ridden by Alan there. Music Society. It runs consistently well in these kind of races. It has a middle, like it's drawn, I think 9. So it's drawn in the middle. So it'll have options of going left or right, whichever way the jockey thinks is the most favourable way. Look, it's around 14-1. I think it finished about 2.5 lengths behind the favourite in that race in Tersk. He's about £8 better off. He's like a more seasoned horse than the favourite too, and it has and there's plenty of form and soft ground. Look, I just think it's a hard race. Maybe the favourite will run away with this, but I thought Music Society had definitely a good each way chance, to be honest.
Good stuff. Yeah, not an easy race to get us underway tomorrow. What have you got that you like here?
It's a bit, not really. It's a bit of a soft bet backing something each way at 7s to place, but Monsieur Cody's been incredibly consistent.
Do it.
Has not been out the top 4 once this year so far. Has won on soft ground already, over 6, drawn next door to the favourite. I think should give you a run for your money. I know, backing something at 7s. And
I think there's worse things. I don't mind that. Yeah. When they come in.
Yeah, exactly. And definitely in with a chance of winning.
Yeah.
I think Montreal Cody should be in the frame. And then maybe live in the moment if breaking well with the claimer on board. Hasn't really been running to form of recent, but we know that both Live in the Moment and his brother Live in the Dream do jump well. And if you get a good lead and you can rattle on down, then maybe in with a chance under a £7 claimer.
I was going to say, I know people who will smash into 7-2 shots each way. So I think 7-1's absolutely.
I don't mind that kind of bet.
Yeah.
Sort of 7-2, 4-1. If you think it's rock solid,
he's
and
been
the
incredibly
dodgy,
consistent,
and it's I don't mind that bet at all.
Well, like I said, my week's mainly been made by the first day at Goodwood, where I don't think I actually backed a winner, but I had everything hit the frame.
Yeah.
And if you put him in trebles and fourfolds, then that's all you really need. You just need them to run to that form and get in the mix. Which
some won't as well on this ground. There'll be plenty that don't.
Yeah, that's true. And then you've done your brains when you're each way. Bet finishes out of the 4.
When your first one you put in the accumulators finishes 5th and you go, oh, right, yeah.
Well, the next race at Goodwood is the race that follows on, the 225. It's a mile 6 summer handicap, and Sweet William is on a hat-trick here and probably sure to go off favourite, Frankie, right?
Yep, 5-2 favourite at current. We're paying 4 places. Adjuvant under Frankie Dettori is 6-1. He's a Laccio 7s. Post Impressionist, that's a horse I really thought would go on and win some races, and I definitely haven't been able to get right. Priced at 8-1. Hopefully he doesn't prove me wrong, because I'm still not going to back him. And then HMS President, 8-1, and bigger the rest.
We'll start with Sweet William because, because it's a worthy favourite. It's been very impressive and progressive. Won at Doncaster and Newbury. Do you think there's more left?
Oh, definitely. And comes from families that we know well over the years, and families that improve for proper stamina tests. Again, I think people looking at it, won the last 2 races, open to progression as a 4-year-old, trained by Gosden. Again, it's an obvious favourite. But that second to St George at Southwell, of course, looks really good since that horse's exploits in group company as well. And nice of Rab Havlin as well to not get jocked off on for Dettori. So big chance for him. He's got on really well with this horse. Again, I think people would genuinely look at this 5-2 and might put it in their each ways, because the horse is never out of the mix. But it's a big ask, and it's been a tough week for the Gosden team. They've had quite a few disappointments.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's Goodwood, so you do get a lot of disappointments. Things don't necessarily go your way. But again, taking a huge chunk out of the market, I kind of hope Post Impressionist does go and do it.
I've given up.
But that's, if anything I've learned from doing any of these shows, it's the moment someone follows a horse and gives up.
Yeah.
Oh God, that happens to Paul Keeley week in, week out.
Yeah, you're the next Paul Keeley. That's what we're saying.
I don't want to fill those boots.
There does come a point though when you just can't go over the cliff again.
It does, yeah. Well, we'll talk about a horse later on actually that I am sticking with, but Post Impressionist is one that I did really think would go and win a couple of these races previously and didn't.
Well, he's a bit of a big lug. He's a 4-year-old, and he's only just getting the hang of the racing game, I think. William Haggis is a very patient trainer. He's happy to let them improve as a 4 or 5-year-old. But the main thing for me, he ran twice last year over 1 6 on soft ground. He nearly got put through the rail at Haydock. He could have won that race. Next time at York, he absolutely dotted up, in the style a lot of Haggis's horses do on the Knavesmire. And I think you put a line through Newcastle. I mean, it was his seasonal reappearance. It was a completely different sort of race, but he's got his conditions. So he's 1 or 2 for me. The other one was He's a Lachico, who absolutely dotted up at Sandown as well. In what looked a really strong race, they went a mad gallop. You really want to stay strongly over this trip at this track. And this horse just keeps on winning over hurdles, on the flat. And off a mark of 87, Gary Moore, Novus yesterday. I thought they were the 2 who had ideal conditions. And again, at much bigger prices than Sweet William.
What do you think of the favourite, Johnny?
I think he's he's a very likeable horse. He's improving fast. His distance ground is 1.5 miles. He's won 2 miles. He's back here 1 6 miles. I think he's gone from 85 to went up 3 pounds. Now he's up like 10 pounds. It doesn't look insurmountable the way he won in on his latest start. And you've got Gosden. And, there's a lot to like about him now. I mean, would I back him at 5-2? Probably not. But I looking down through him, I thought a lot of the other ones were a lot more exposed than him and had a lot less to offer than this horse going forward. Like 95 is that the ceiling of his ability? I doubt if it is. I think he's a very likely winner. I think he'd possibly win. Would I back him? Probably not. But like he's a touch in the short side for what looks a toughish race, and it's a right-handed track and different kind of a track completely than the ones he's been running on big open tracks like Doncaster and Newbury and that. Look, I fancy him a bit without wanting to put my hand in my pocket and take out my cash at the same time.
Well, let's skip across to Newmarket now, because their feature race of the day is a listed race at 2:40. And Frankie, amusement for Donica, I think.
Yes.
It's Donica, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Is sure to go a favourite.
Yeah, 6-4 favourite at the moment. And I guess when you see Donica send one over, is always going to be fairly short and rightly so. A couple of decent performances in group races and probably has the the form pick of the bunch. So yeah, Amusement 6-4 favourite. Sunset Point for the Appleby team 9-2. Sweet Memories. This will be her third start for Jonathan Thady Gosden 11-2, and Bigger the Rest.
What do you think of the favourite? I mean, they're obviously coming here. They want more black tie, and they'd like to win a listed race. When you're going through the calendar with these types of horses, you've got to take the opportunities abroad. Yeah. So they're here for that. How strong is her form, do you think?
Well, I think, again, people are looking at and thinking third to Emily Dickinson and thinking, right, okay, we can 100% rate the horse through that run. And to be fair, you probably can. Ross Carberry coming to that in great form. Was in second in that. Patrick Toomey's in fantastic nick. Run for Oscar had run well at Royal Ascot and was in fourth. So it is solid. She was a little bit slowly away. She looks a little bit, I would say not straightforward, but there are a few quirks there.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think they've probably looked at it and gone, I think everyone else will look elsewhere. And this Newmarket listed race, we might get away with finding a weak field here. And with a rating of 103, she's the one who sets the standard. And everything else is stepping up out of novice company or trying to bounce back from poor runs. But again, there's just nothing. There's nothing that inspires me less than looking at a Saturday and thinking, 6-4 shot. That's what I'm doing, because these are. Sure, they've looked at the programme, but are we saying that the Applebys, Gosdens, and Haggers of this world haven't as well? And they're all huge prices and they're all beautifully bred as well. So, again, I can certainly see why a progressive 3-year-old already rated in triple figures with group form is the likely favourite here. But coming over to Newmarket.
I think she's too short.
Yeah, I agree.
Personally.
Just because there's a few that are, well, they're all obviously improving horses, but especially looking at Sweet Memories, won really well last time out. I like the way that she battled back.
Yeah, she was tough at Newbury.
The second horse.
And you just wouldn't know. It wouldn't be going straight into a listed race.
No.
If they didn't hold it in some regard.
And they've done a good job of that, I think, this year. Jonathan Thady Gosden. Well, they always do, obviously, placing their horses, but especially this year, I think quite a few times with horses that haven't shown their best, they've placed them nicely and they've put in a real good performance. So, like you said, Amusement has the obvious form pick, and that is why she's favourite, but it's short enough when it's not the most obvious race to work out, is it?
No.
I think the question you've always got to ask in these races is, you've got the form pick, but people say, well, this has to improve a stone to beat it. But you've got unexposed 3- and 4-year-olds who could quite easily improve a stone. I have gone a bit mad, though, and napped a 20-1 shot in this.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Get that quiet for a
Come
while.
on, what is it?
I thought if I went straight in with it,
You played it very cool. This has been this big build-up and suddenly it's, well, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got a 20-1 shot.
Now we want to talk about this.
I think in journalistic terms it's called burying the lead, isn't it? We'll just leave it to the bottom of the story. But again, I just thought Climate Friendly was an insane price here. Jane Chapel-Hyam, this horse won at 12-1 on the Rolling Mile back in May. Beat Sumo Sam, who's a 2-9 favourite, who then went on to finish third at Goodwood in a listed race. Then they sent this horse immediately to the Ribblesdale, 80-1. Had an absolute blinder, finished 7th of 17. Not that far behind Blue Stocking, who got done on the line in the Irish Oaks. In there as well was Sea of Roses, who ran an absolute blinder next time out. El May behind that, placed in listed company. Village Voice just got done on the line the other day by Jackie O. It was a good race, and this horse was 3 wide around every bend. But the key thing is, watch the replay back last time at Newmarket. She is going just as well as the favourite. And, I know this is a Racing Post show, so I'm going to say whoever did the close-ups, but headway when carried left under 3 furlongs out should read headway when nearly put through the rail twice. and Marco Gianni had to immediately stop riding. Favourite was on the bridle. She was on the bridle. She got nearly put through the rail, immediately stopped. Now, if she'd have finished second or third,
she'd be 10-1, not 20-1.
Exactly that. So I think she's huge. She's
lucky we've got Hawkeye in the studio with us. Hey?
It's all about the videos. It's all about the videos. You've got to watch them back. Because
I think Jane Chapel-Hyam's a great trainer as well.
Yeah,
and she does a really good job.
Yeah, especially with the fillies and mares, progressing them nicely. That Ribblesdale run, and like I said, if she'd have finished second or third last time out, for a start, she wouldn't be rated 93, would she? She'd have gone up to 100, and then she'd be challenging the favourite for the top rated in here. But I know exactly what's going to happen though. She's going to run a face-off and finish fourth.
And the favourite will still win.
No, I've got faith in you.
Yeah, and
I've got faith in you. I like the way you sort of...
Yeah, no, I liked the case there.
Yeah, I agree.
I took my time to get there, but...
No, you did. I quite like Sunset Point here. It's a filly that I've watched because a horse of Chelsea Thoroughbreds was second to it at Windsor, and she absolutely bolted up. And then she ran okay a couple of times, and I know they liked her that day. And then she got back on the winning trail at Ascot last time. I think there's more to come from her, and I think she's quite interesting. Johnny, the favourite here for you or not?
Saw this and saw 6-4. Oh, look, I was saying to myself, I can't have Amusement on my mind. I think it's the most vulnerable favourite of the day, bar none. She's won a handicap at the start of the year off 79, I think, in Leopardstown. Just about beat a horse called Two Tatas by nose or something. She wore blinkers at 2. She, in my opinion, she's a right dodge now. This Amusement, she slow away from traps. Nearly every day she runs at horses. Now she's plenty like good place form against the likes of Emily Dickinson, Shamida, like Lafayette. That looks good form, like, and it's thirds and fourths in those races. But I can't have her. I think first of all she's as slow as a man anyway. She wants about 2.5 mile, I'd say she'd stay on a mile and a half.
Poor thing, the
filly's
being absolutely obliterated.
Yeah, but this is what I love about Johnny though. When Johnny takes against one, he takes against one. This is what you've got to do.
Yeah, I genuinely think Amusement to talk to you. To be honest, I think she's a right dodge, and I'll be against her in a big way anyway tomorrow.
Good stuff. Well, I think we all agree.
Yeah. What are you going to be laying her or backing something against her, Johnny?
Oh, I don't know a lot about the other ones. Like Sunset Point looks to have a good chance. Sweet Memories looks exposed. Like when you look at the actual bare bones of the farm, she definitely has the best farm, and you can see why people will fancy her and back her. But I have backed her before. I backed her as a 2-year-old a few times, and I backed her. I even backed her the day she won, and she was steeped to win at like off of 79. Like if this is if she's a genuine 103. I'll give up the game anyway, to be honest.
Well, on that note, let's go back to Goodwood for the Qatar Lillie Langtry Stakes. A Group 2 at 3 o'clock, where we have a short price favourite again here, Frankie.
Yep, free wind 11-10 currently, and this is a favourite I can get on board with. I think, I know she didn't run a best race last time out, but even that performance maybe is good enough to win this, in my opinion. River of Stars 7-2 for the informed Beckett team. Time Lock 9-2, and Louisa Casati 8-1, who did beat Time Lock at Goodwood last time out.
Free wind 11-10. You've touched on the fact, strong form, 5th in the Hardwick last time. She won the Middleton the time before. She is the one they've all got to beat, hasn't she? Yeah,
and I mean you can't crab her for that defeat last time out. I mean she was up against 2 rock solid colts who are genuine Group 1 performers. It was a bit of a it was a bold move, I think, to go up against the boys in that.
Yeah.
I mean last year she was insanely progressive. She made light work of the drop back in trip at York, and she's got tons of ability. She's got cruising speed. She stays. She obviously comes from a beautiful family as well. She's got the Gosden and Dettori combination, of course, as well. And like I said, I mean, she was beaten 3 lengths into 5th last time out, but still ran to an RPR of 110 behind genuine Group 1 horses. So this is easier. It looks like it's just one of those races, isn't it? Though that she'll probably win, and then you go through the field and everything has the same form claim against her, I feel. There's a lot of these fillies and mares races that are run throughout the season, and 3, 4, 5 horses turn up time and time again and take it in turns to beat each other. People say about sprint handicaps, it's this horse has turned to win today, but I feel a bit like that with some of these Group 2, Group 3 listed fillies and mares races. So I think she'll probably win. But again, my little each way alarm went off in the back of my head, and I saw a 6-5 favourite with dead 8 runners, and I was rubbing my hands together with glee. So the horse that's going to finish 4th for me was probably Sumo Sam.
Okay.
I thought was overpriced. Second on soft ground to run in line at Newmarket. I know that form's been let down a little bit since, but she comes from a real stay-in family. The family of Staghorn and a lot of proper mile 6 horses that these connections have done really well with. And again, she's got course form, she's got soft ground form, and she just seemed a little bit overpriced to me. I thought she would definitely be in the frame based on that third to Alice for, again, you look at it and you think, well, that's like the form down, that's like the form down, but you could say that about every single runner in this race, apart from Free Win. So I think Free Win will probably win. I think the rest will be scrabbling around for places, and hopefully Sumo Sam can take that course form and put it to good use.
Yeah, River of Stars I thought was interesting. Second in Group 2 at Longchamp last time. Ran well at York in a Group 3. You know, it's a sort of solid level of form. And
Frankie, Beckett as well.
I know.
With it is real. I mean, you obviously have a soft spot.
I think he's a great trainer.
He is, yeah. He knows where to place them. He's had a bit
of a frustrating time. If you think that in the Irish Oaks just got touched off, and then Westover just got touched off, and then kind of an annoying couple of weeks that could have been amazing.
Yeah, and then I think Kinross the other day probably he was like,
good.
oh, thank God.
Yes.
Because we've got one over the line.
Yes.
But you're right. But he never seems to be out of form. I never see him
very consistent.
Yeah, and I never see him
really thinks about where he places his horses. A lot of thought goes into everything.
I feel like I never see a Beckett horse and go, what the hell is that doing in here?
Yeah.
I think, oh yeah, that's exactly the right race for it.
Yeah.
So my slight concern about her was she might be the front runner, and soft ground, Goodwood, mile and 6 for me, front runners.
Beware.
Tough to get home.
Beware. Frankie, what do you think?
I think I'm going to stick with the favourite here. I do think Louisa Casati's overpriced, or in relation to Time Lock. I know that form was reversed the following race, but looking at Goodwood form, and it has held pretty strong this week with Lord Riddisford, Roscollon, they've been winning, and soft ground horses have been winning as well. So I think they should be closer in the betting, considering that Goodwood race that happened earlier this year. But I do like one favourite on the card to try and get stuck into, and I think Free Wind is rock solid here. I'd probably be most worried about River of Stars. Like you said, Beckett's in form, and that's the horse that's probably improved most from last year to this year and has put in 2 good performances. But what I said at the top, even if you were to crab at that 5th at the Royal Meeting behind the boys, I still think that performance is good enough to beat these. I think she's the best in the field. She's won over this trip. She's won on testing conditions. I just think she's the better horse, and she should win.
Johnny, you with or against the favourite here?
I'd be neither. I agree with what a lot of Frankie's just said there. She has a lot going for her. She's a lot going for her. She's about, I think she's about 10 pounds in hand and rate, and she's like in around 11 to 10. She's a worthy favourite. Like, there's a lot to like about her, to be honest. And like, she's back in against her own sex here, which is a big help. I wouldn't stop anyone from backing her. I definitely wouldn't oppose her anyway. I wouldn't lay her anyway. But the one I was going to go with was maybe Time Lock each way. It's in around 5 to 1. I'd expect it to be minimum place. I do think the step up to 14 furlongs will suit her, and she's been trying out for a bit of digging the ground. It definitely didn't handle the fast ground one day in Haydock, and she's got Ryan Moore on her. Look, if the favourite runs up to its 4-year-old form, it'll win. It definitely will win. But I don't think there's a major downside in backing Time Lock each way. I do think she'll definitely be placed, and if the favourite didn't happen to perform, she might even squeeze a win out of it. But look, I wouldn't stop anyone from backing Free Wind. On a lot of her forms, she'll definitely win this.
Well, and finally, the last race we're going to have a good look at is the feature race of the day at Glorious Goodwood. It is the Stewards Cup. It comes up at 3:35, and Orazio is a clear favourite here, Frankie.
Yes, we are. This is a super extra place race for us. We're paying 6 instead of 4 places. Orazio 5 to 1, and the rest of the field are double figures. So Al Bashir 11 to 1, Bielsa 12s, Apollo 1 also 12s, King's Lynn. That is the other horse, which I can't get away from, 14s.
Is that the one you're going to stay with?
That's
okay,
this one I'm going to stick
with.
And then, bigger the rest, a big field, very, very competitive. But a short price favourite that was well backed as well at the Royal Meeting.
Hang on, I feel like we need to talk about address King's Lynn right now.
Yeah, I have a bit of Chester bias. I do all of Chester's Saturdays, and I really make a good effort to try and find winners at Chester. And King's Lynn, I mean, was a group horse last year, and I think it was seasonal debut at Chester. Had a wide draw, went wide enough, didn't have the best run round, finished second to Nymphadora, who's won since. And I was just convinced the next 2 times in these sort of handicaps, with Harry Davis taking off 3, effectively running off a marker 104, I thought, has to be winning one of these races, and has run okay. And what's been really frustrating, has travelled really well and not really seen the race out. So maybe it is a horse on the decline, but I'm kind of keeping
You're keeping the faith.
that there is one big run left in King's Lynn. But yeah, you maybe it's because I am invested. If you were to be a bit more sensible, you might think that maybe the horse isn't finishing its races as well as he has in the past. But I like the second at Chester. I like the fact that Nymphadora won. I like Harry Davis as a jockey and with the £3. So there's lots of things telling me stick with. We'll find out. But yeah, I am going to have another stab at King's Lynn. And look, if he goes and does the same and runs well and doesn't quite see the race out, you might still nick a place at 14th.
True.
Yeah. 7th, I think is what I can feel it. If all mine are finishing 4th, then he's finishing 7th.
Or 6th places. We need
6th.
Yeah.
So as long as we get in the top 6, I'm happy.
What do you think?
I mean, I don't think he has run badly at all the last 2 starts. Actually, again, play the videos back, which is hard with these races because you have to watch. It's 27 runners at Ascot. You have to watch.
How many times would you watch a race like that back?
I'd probably watch it back fairly soon afterwards, and then kind of let it percolate. And then go back when I see the horses running again and go, oh yeah, that did run well, didn't it?
Okay.
But the 2 things for King's Lynn, one, in the St Lawrence race at Ascot, stuck steadfastly to the far side rail on his own as well. He was just going, you know what, I'm not having any of this. I'm going down this rail, which didn't work at all.
In running, I thought, here we go, travelling wonderfully. Harry's doing his own thing. He must be confident. And then, like I said,
and then they all came down the middle.
Yeah, it just didn't happen in the final furlong. But
he struggles to pick up on fast ground, I think, a little bit. And then last time out, we've seen some 5 furlong races at Ascot this year that have made no sense whatsoever. It's a stiff track that's normally won by deep closers. And the big board went off, made all. The other day, Intrinsic Bond went off, made all. King's Lynn jumped out of the stalls 9-2 favourite last time out and must have thought, what the hell is going on here? Ran on for 6th, ran a really good race. And yeah, soft ground, I think potentially a good draw in 7 because I think they're going to split. I think a lot of the good horses seem to be over in the low numbers. I would keep. I'd keep faith.
He's convinced you.
I know. Yeah.
Well,
what do you like in the race?
Well, King's Lynn now, apparently.
You've talked yourself into King's Lynn.
I was trying to talk myself out, but just sticking with. But you've reboosted something.
I've reboosted it in. But it's funny how people get that because I know a couple of commentators who I really fancy this horse, and you go, hang on a minute, you commentated at that meeting. Yeah. That's why you really fancy that horse because you've got.
I definitely have a Chester bias, but sometimes it can pay off when you have a horse, especially in the sprints, that is drawn wide and still does run a good race. Like you said, when you do go and watch the races back, might have a little bit in hand compared to what it looks on paper on bare numbers.
Yeah, and like you said, Nymphadora's right in the form. So
and that was soft ground that day as well. So there was a few things going for King's Lynn.
I had these races. I mean, I kind of love them, I kind of hate them, but I've kind of got to back. I'd rather back 3. And Dutch the 3 of them than back 1 each way and just hope that one of them comes in because you can narrow it down to 4 or 5 and go, you know what, I'll leave a couple out and it's best not to get greedy, I think, and just try and make a small profit if you are. I think Orazio is potentially the one future group horse in here. I really like the way he won at Newmarket and beat Probe, who was in rattling form at the time and went on to win next time out. Ascot was effortless. That almost looked like we're going to show off before the Wokingham kind of run. The problem was that they got rattling fast ground at Ascot and also got stuck a little bit away from the action. But interesting, they chose 6 quite early yesterday, so I think they want that fresh ground. If I remember rightly, I think Carden was all the way over that rail as well when he bolted up. I say remember rightly, I could just click and have a look, couldn't I? He was drawn 3. Charlie Hills, Jim Crowley did it. I think they're going to do exactly the same thing as they did with Carden. There's 2 dangers for me. One's Mum's Tipple.
Yes.
Who went in the notebook last year at this meeting, was the only horse in the first 10 home at Goodwood over 7 furlongs that had never run at the track. And he came there absolutely swinging over 7 furlongs and just didn't get home. Then they dropped him back to sprinting and he's barely been out of the frame since.
Yeah.
Was in the heat of the race at Ascot last time out, but it's a stiff finish, it's fast ground and the closers dominated. I think soft ground, 6 furlongs Goodwood is absolutely ideal for this horse. And then I've thrown a right old dart
There we go. This is where the 6 places matter.
This is, look, I've got 2 20-1 shots and a 33-1 shot, and they're all going to just miss out on the frame. I can feel it.
No, I think you're going to come good. I feel like there's a lot of confidence behind this.
I mean, if they come good, you'll never see me again. Because the treble's going to pay enough for me to move somewhere.
Well, you're not going to be in the studio every night like you have been this week.
I'm going to buy the studio if these 3 come in. I'm going to buy this building. That's it. And I'm going to live in all 7 floors. Because the treble's going to be huge.
Oh, God. Well, you heard it here.
Yeah.
So come on, what's the last one?
It's tactical.
Right.
The horse, that's not my way of playing it. Yeah. Julie Camacho, Ross Orion. Now, again, here's some. Where's my stats?
Where have they gone when you need them?
Julie Camacho, after a win-up, past 12 months, 4 winners from 11 runners. This horse won the Chalice Stakes to 2-year-old, won the Windsor Castle, was 4th in the Middle Park, 3rd to Creative Force and Spycatcher in a sprint as well. And then for some reason they said, let's make this horse into a miler, which often happens with talented young sprinters. It just didn't work out. But Julie Camacho has picked this horse up, and I don't think, they're not doing wind-ups just to see what happens. They're clearly choosing when to use the wind-up to target a race, I think. And this horse finished 5th on seasonal reappearance for the yard, behind Vadream at Doncaster. Behind was Comanche Falls, who's won a group race since. Behind was King's Lynn, who's off a much higher rating here. Fast Response and Vadream have gone on to listed and group placed and winning form as well. They've thrown the wind up, they've thrown the cheek pieces. They're off 99, a career low mark. Back end of last year was only beaten a length behind Fresh at Ascot off 103. This horse is the best handicapped horse in this race comfortably. Doesn't mean it's going to win, but it does mean it's overpriced. So yeah, and Julie Camacho, obviously, Shaquille, she's had a cracking year.
Yeah, no, really, really interesting. Johnny, anything that you're particularly sort of keen on in the Stewards Cup?
No, not really. It wouldn't be my kind of races, no. Offering an opinion in this, kind of like feel like a bigger fraud than normal, like putting up a horse for a race like this. So look, I looked at the favourite and look short on it, 9-2 favourite in a race like this, like 28 runners. That wouldn't be for me anyway. But the one I was coming down with was the one that Ross mentioned there, Mum's Tipple. If I had to pick a horse, it was a top, looked like being a top 2-year-old, and now it's 6 years of age, it's 4 years later, but it's still rated 101, hasn't lost its form or anything like that, and has form on different grounds. Look, I think it has a chance. Like I don't even watch these races, not mind betting them normally now, to be honest, you know. But if I had to force to have a pick or to offer some sort of a token selection, it'd be Mum's Tipple. I suppose you'd have to back it each way in a race like this too. But normally this wouldn't be a race I'd be going for, to be honest.
Johnny, you could watch this race 23 times in the same time it takes you to watch an Irish novice chase.
Yeah, but when Emma said to you how many times you watch it, I could the answer. My answer now, and I've not been smart, is I wouldn't watch it originally. Not I mind watch it afterwards. I don't even look at these races, to be honest. And this is like, to me, is a 6 furlong Grand National. You know what I'm saying? And they're just, it's too time consuming to go through all these horses, and just so much looking, running, and everything. I just find that these races are easy. It's easy to draw a line through them, to be honest.
So Mum's Tipple it is. We'll all be piling in off the back of such a confident selection.
Mum's Tipple are going to win now.
But this was what happens. Tom Siegel's the same. He says, I hate sprints. I've looked at it for 2 seconds and he'll give you the winner. So,
and he doesn't look at it for 2 seconds either.
No, he doesn't. But I get the feeling Johnny probably does, actually.
I think Johnny hasn't even looked at the race. I feel like he's just gone
Johnny's
like
on
that.
minus minutes of looking at this race.
Well, before we get stuck into our weekend naps, go check out racingpost.com/free bets to see how you may be able to get £200 worth of free bets for yourself. So, nap of the daytime. King's Lynn, is it, Frankie, or not?
Oh.
I feel like it's more free wind.
Yeah, more free wind. But if free wind wins, then maybe I'll be inspired and King's Lynn will take another bet. But yeah, like I said, I like to find a favourite that's, I think free wind should be even money, in my opinion, and I would back it even money. I think if she runs her race, she goes and wins. And even as I said, if she doesn't run quite to her best, maybe could still have the beating of the field. And yeah, I'm happy to back at 11 to 10 for sure. So free win will be the nap.
Yeah, I mean, quite the contrast. I think every race starts with, do you fancy the favourite or not? And if you do, nap it. If you don't, take it on with something else. So I'll go with Climate Friendly, because like Johnny, I don't particularly like amusement in that race. I think, like I said, if she got a clear one last time out, she'd have been placed, and she wouldn't be 20 to 1. She might be 7, 8, 9 to 1 in this.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go against you in the same race, Sunset Point. We're all up for taking on the favourite in the 3:10 at Newmarket. Just on the fact I liked the way she won at Ascot last time. She's kind of a filly I followed, and I feel that she's not bad value and probably sure to run well. Johnny, best bet of the day?
Look, I'll go for Time Lock each way. In like I can respect the favourite there, Free Win, but I think Time Lock is fairly solid each way. I do think it'll be minimum place, and if Free Win didn't perform, it could pick up the pieces. So look, I can't tip Free Win because I get a lot of abuse for tipping favourites anyway from fellas. So I'll go with Time Lock each way. That'll be my nap anyway.
4 of us, and we've only managed 2 races on the nap.
Yeah.
I know. Of all the races and meetings that there are tomorrow.
I thought Johnny would be giving us one from Galway.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realise. I thought the nap was. was for the 5 races we covered.
Galway's good.
Okay, well I'll go for This Song Is For You in the first race in Galway on Saturday.
Perfect.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I was going to say that's much more like it, isn't that? An Irish maiden hurdle. That's.
Got Johnny's name written all over it.
They're the replays that Johnny plays back 20 times and I don't even click on. So if we found our own niche.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if you fancy a trip to the Breeders' Cup, the Racing Post have a great competition that you can get involved with. So, Frankie, it's been a busy week for you. Galway, Goodwood. Where's next?
Next stop's Chester.
Tomorrow?
Sunday. Family day at Chester. So that will be very, very different. Different in racing terms, different in the actual event. Finding winners on a Sunday at Chester on family day might be tricky, but I will give it a good go.
Love Chester.
Same. I love it. It's a great
don't we
course.
just need some better weather?
We do.
It dampens everything.
Yeah, it
and
does.
The only hope is that we get that kind of back end flash in September that sometimes it's actually 25 degrees and much warmer then. So
saying that weather-wise, there's something about if you're watching a jumps race, you just stop caring. Oh, even at Galway, I know it's a mixed card at Galway, but the difference between going to Goodwood and expecting sunshine and flat races versus going to Galway and you're in Ireland and there is some jumps racing on the card.
Well, in Ireland you just expect it to rain.
Yeah.
That's just built into the...
So
that's the thing, yeah. If you're
weirdly
watching,
not bothered.
If you're watching Irish jumps racing and it's sunny, you get confused. And the same the other day at Goodwood on Wednesday, there was something about the mist and the greyness that made me think, I don't want to watch this at all. As soon as the sun comes out, wow, I'm excited.
Yeah,
the weather keeps up, I go to Stratford or something instead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, funnily enough, you fancy Kings Lynn, the Stewards Cup. I'm off to Norfolk next week. I'm in the week off and going to Norfolk.
Are you? How nice. Where in Norfolk?
I can't remember.
Oh no!
Somewhere in Norfolk.
It's an air. It's off grid. Is
it on the beach?
No, it's in the middle. It's like 2 acres of woodland. It's a cabin in the middle of nowhere.
How nice!
So I don't have to look. I don't have to watch a replay back. I don't have to watch the Stewards Cup back 20 times. I don't have to look at a laptop. If it rains though, it's going to be horrific.
Oh no, it'll be fine. Well, I'm going on holiday today in about 3 hours, so I'm going to hurry up and say goodbye to you in a minute. Johnny, what are your weekend plans?
We're just back from holiday, so I'll be just sitting at home watching a few horses, and well, with 5 kids anyway, you'd never be idle anyway. Do you know what I mean? That kind of way. So basically, I'll be just doing as I normally do just for this weekend anyway.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining us on the programme. Thank you, guys.
Pleasure.
I'm really cheering on Kings Lynn and a few of these big price ones because I would like to see you again. You have just declared you're never coming back if any of these come in. So
it's like, well, yeah, first time I've done What a Shout, possibly the last time.
No.
If they win, it's the last time. If they all finish last, it also might be the last time as well.
Brilliant. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you again next week.